Man, it's the disrespect for
Oh,
me. It's the
always is.
disrespect. It's the disrespect. You know
Never
what,
ends.
though? The Bay Boys are back in town. Welcome to Bart and the Good
Let's do
Raider
it.
Show. Next stop, Disrespect Drive.
Just win, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Here we
sir.
go. Here we go.
Man, like I said, it's the disrespect for me. Did you see the thumb? Hold on, let me show you guys. I know y'all guys seen this. It's the
Yeah,
disrespect. It's the disrespect for me. They telling us that we in the basement. Matter of fact, we lowered in the basement. We 6 feet under, according to what they say. But what do
yeah.
you say? And what do we say? That's what matters. So, welcome to the Bart Bay Area Raiders Talk. Welcome to the Good Raiders Show. We simulcasting. So make sure you hit like button
Mm-hmm.
on both of these channels. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want that raw and uncut Bay Area balance because the Bay Boys are here. What's up with
Mm.
my brother? What's up with him?
Yeah. We're here. The disrespect is here too. But you know, look, just let me know when to answer the question because the question,
Yeah,
of course, is what place will the Raiders be in? How bad will it be? Um.
right, right. So we're gonna also do a call in for you guys too. Something that we want to implement into the show. We want to have the nation be able to get off where they mad
Uh
at.
huh.
They can rant. They can address some of the things that we say if you got smoke or if you just want to, encourage the nation because we're trying to do this one nation thing because we're trying to make our way
Right.
back to the top. We're making our way back to the top. So,
So the
uh,
last 30 minutes, we decided the last 30 minutes or maybe 20 minutes would be guest
yeah,
call-ins, right?
yes,
Starting today, the last 30 minutes, guest calling.
yep, and then
Obviously, keep it respectful, keep it
yes.
clear, concise, you
Mhm.
know.
Yep,
But
and the
yeah,
and the
let's
number and the numbers and the number is at the top. So you
yo,
guys
what
will
up,
see
Blue
the
Galaxy?
number will be all across the top for a while, and then you guys can get involved if you want
With
to.
that 510. With that
Yeah,
510.
you see it, you
You see
see
the
it.
510. What up, Blue Galaxy? Welcome.
Yes, what's good? So let's jump straight into it, man. Let's look at the disrespect. So let me move this real quick then.
Uh,
Bam.
yeah, that's
So essentially, what they're saying is Kansas City are favored
right.
along with the
The
Los
Chargers,
Angeles Chokers
which is
to
the
win
more
the
of a
division.
surprise for me, honestly. That's more of a surprise for me, but we can keep going.
Yeah, yeah, it's a surprise to me too. And then they have the Denver Broncos falling from their grace after being right there
Mm-hmm.
last year, and they have them
Mm-hmm.
falling down to the third, and then they have us at the core of the earth. So we're gonna talk about that and go through these teams individually and see exactly what it is that they see and is it
Yeah.
is it what it is. So what's your initial thoughts about that so
Look,
far though?
here's the thing, Black. Here's the thing. I know, like, as a hardcore Raider fan, right? I want to say that's be. I want to say good things. The thing right now is though, I don't disagree,
Mm,
right? Because I just I don't know where you're going to get the higher numbers from. We won 3 games last year,
mhm.
right? And later on in this episode today, we are gonna talk about the 8 reasons specifically why the Raiders will be a better team in 2026.
Right.
But 2026 hasn't started yet. And right now, if you ask me where do I think the Raiders will end, I think fourth place in the division.
Ooh.
I, I, again, I just don't know how I won't do that because everyone in the division went to the playoffs the past 2 years, right? Did it, no,
I think Kansas City didn't make it last year. I
yeah,
made that mistake
Kansas,
earlier too. They didn't
right,
make it um because Mahomes got hurt, right? But like you said, our division is so ultra competitive.
right, yeah. The shock for me was putting Chargers second because Justin Herbert
Justin,
is still the the prophesied Messiah that he has not lived up to.
Right.
Even with what's her name? What Madeline, even him with banging Madeline Breyer, whatever her name is, that still isn't doing it. It's like it doesn't matter what you give Justin Herbert. He's just not getting it. I mean, does he need to get married? Madison, can you just lock the man down? Maybe that's what it is. He's so nervous he's going to lose her. Every game he's just like choking. But whatever it is, Justin Herbert keeps choking. So I'm a little bit surprised they got them neck to neck with the Chiefs. And you have to figure that's probably because of Harbaugh, right? That's the Harbaugh magic, right? John Harbaugh, right? That's his name? Not
Yeah.
John. That's the John Harbaugh magic.
So yeah, I think they are anticipating that, and also with the addition of Mike McDaniel from Miami, their offensive play caller. They have a new
Oh, that's
offensive play
right.
caller.
That's right.
So
He's going to. So Madison Bryant is not enough to unlock the Hubbard magic, but you bring in Mac McDaniel, we're gonna be seeing some real magic then, right?
yeah, so because he is an offensive, he does have good play calling and
He
things
is an
like that.
offensive guru, right?
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
he's also going from a head coach position to a coordinator position where his
right.
responsibility is less and he can focus more on gaming and scheming. So
Okay.
so let's start with them though. Let's start with the Los Angeles Chokers. So they have the new coordinator.
New
I
coordinator.
think they did lose their defensive coordinator though.
Of course they did.
So
Yeah, they lost him to.
so that kind of
I
hold
again,
on.
I don't know where they lost their defensive coordinator because he's a Ravens head coach now, Jesse Minter.
Yeah.
Mac McDaniels. That's the only thing I can think of. That's got to be where the magic is supposed to come from. There, right? That's got to be it.
Yeah, and then not only that, because the Harbaugh thing, and they think that this is where they get to the playoff, but they lose in the first round, and they feel like
Right.
maybe these additions will help them go to the next level.
Yeah.
So
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is. The
But
thing about go ahead.
losing in the first round is just a Charger thing. I mean, what's
Yeah,
his name did that for 17 years with the Chargers?
right.
Yeah, that's just a Charger thing. Even when they had LaDainian Tomlinson, they couldn't get up more than one game.
Yeah, and it is a Charger thing because what happens is they start off fast,
Uh-huh.
and then injuries catch up with them, and then also the thing I've been telling people ever since year two with Justin Herbert is, oh my God, he got all these great numbers, Hall of Fame type numbers already, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's fine and dandy, but when he goes to the playoffs, he doesn't do what he needs to do to bring his team over the edge. And then not only that,
Yeah.
even in big games, I see that he overthrows the ball and he just can't make the big moment happen.
And he's
And
even
even
like I said, he's dating a pop star that you would hope would, like Travis Kelce, did a pop
Mhm.
star and it boosts you. Didn't work for Justin Herbert either. I mean,
Yes, I agree.
look, Mike McDaniel's got some magic. Maybe that will finally be the thing, right? That's all I'm banking on, right? Because even their running game that was supposed to be electric last year really wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, because I keep saying like guys like what's their running back's name?
Who, the Chargers?
Yeah, Omarion Hampton. And I keep saying like guys like him will just get injured too much.
It's funny that you say that injury
Him
thing
and Kim
because
Scatterboo.
yeah, so and that's the thing. The Chargers are known for their injuries late in the season,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then even the thing with McDaniels is the way he runs his offenses is they give up a lot of hits on the quarterback, and because look how Tua kept getting hit, and because
Right.
the way he schemes is he allow a player to get loose, but they
Loose,
try to
yeah.
scheme away from him and try to use the extra player to try to create something else on the other side or whatever. But that doesn't stop the quarterback from getting hit or just hits in the backfield. Period. So
Yeah.
I'm banking more so on they might start off good and they're gonna fade out like normal.
Right.
And I think the quarterback is an issue as far as injury and getting hits because he did get hurt last year. Just granted, it was his off throwing hand, it's non-throwing hand, right? So he did get injured, and it won't take him a full season to recuperate from that. But if
Right.
you keep compounding these injuries or you keep hitting them, then that's what makes quarterbacks be inaccurate. And sometimes they see ghosts or
Right.
whatnot.
Right. And just to also mention, Harper's team has never really been good in the yo, what up, Pappy? It's never really been good in the NFL in terms of like going deep into the playoff run. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl once, but they've got because Harper's always kind of focused on being an aggressive team, which leads to injuries, and his scheme is just kind of like pound your head into the wall until the wall breaks. And yeah, sometimes the wall breaks, but eventually the wall just breaks you. Right?
Yeah.
The wall comes back and says, yeah, no, I'm a wall and you're not. I'm, again, relying on somebody like Omarion Hampton as a downhill physical runner is like, yeah, but he's gonna miss a few games every year, like Cam Scatterbull, because eventually your head is gonna break, or your leg is gonna break, or eventually players just. The craziest thing about downhill runners that I saw was with Cam Scatterbull last year, where against the Jaguars, what's his name, Floyd, the Jaguars, middle linebacker, just straight up went at Scatterbull, knocked him down. He just stood over him like, dude, what do you think you're doing? You can't just come in here and think he's going to run over everyone because you think you're aggressive. If you're aggressive, well, guess what? We can be aggressive too. Eventually, somebody's bones is going to break.
Right.
So I think their style is going to stall as the season progresses because I think they're going to run into a lot of injury issues like they've been doing, like the Niners have been doing. Again, Harbaugh, Niners, same issue. They just kind of get a lot of injuries because they keep trying this system of just aggression. It's just like, bro, everyone can be equally as aggressive, right? And all you need is one good hit. There goes your starting running back. He's done for the year. So yeah, that's
the
quarterback,
or the quarterback. Yeah,
that's where I'm out on that. That's where again, look at the Niners. It's the same story, right? Injury. It's the same system continuation. There's a reason Harbaugh's never won a Super Bowl. There's a reason why he's only won one college champion. Did he win with Stanford? No, he didn't win. He's only won one college championship, right?
He won with Michigan.
Michigan, yeah, I think that's the only one. Yeah. And then he's gone because his style is going to be extremely hard to take a team deep into the playoffs to win a Super Bowl. That's just it.
Yeah, the days of imposing your will strictly with the will is not going to get it. You have to have scheme and will now.
Which explains why they want to bring in Mac McDaniels, right? Now we need some scheme. Okay, cool. Let's see how Dow's going to plan out because Mac McDaniels' scheme also didn't really do much for him because, again, 49ers, the Dolphins, we stalled at the end of the season because we have too many injuries. The same story over and over and over again. So again, that's why I'm surprised they're number 2 because I feel like Sean Payton, as much as I don't like Sean Payton, is a much more stabilizing force as a coach in ensuring that his team is healthy at the end of the year.
Right. Papi Blanco, what's good with you, my brother? You caught the live. I'm glad you're here, brother.
Yeah,
he said, yeah, but every single team he coached, it becomes 1,000 times better.
Yeah, for 10 weeks. For 10 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for 10 weeks, they'll become 10 times better. 1 times better. By the time you get to 18 weeks, they start to become 10 times better because there's too much injuries. By the time you get to the second game of the playoff, it's like you're limping into the final stretch. Again, it showed me something different, right? He's been with the Chargers for 3 seasons, going on 3 seasons now.
One. Yeah.
And the last 2 seasons, it's been this exact same story. I don't know what Mike McDaniels gives you differently, right? Because when it comes to the Broncos, their issue comes down to just quarterback play. Their quarterback is going to get better in the 3rd year, you would assume. Their defense is better than the Chargers defense, and they don't really get bogged down by tons of injury. They lost last year because they just got beat. They were healthy, but they got beat by a better team. Yeah, I don't see the Chargers on there. I don't.
Yeah, I don't really see the Chargers winning this division like that. maybe on paper they feel like that addition will help them, but
Yeah.
they have. I mean, like even with Justin Herbert,
Mm-hmm.
he gets to the playoffs, play the Jaguars, and then they throw 5 interceptions and they still lose the game.
Right.
Then they go to the playoffs. What last year? Go up there and wet
Mm-hmm.
the bed. And because they limping into the playoffs. You want to play your best football at the end of the season,
At the
not
end of
at
the
the
season.
beginning.
So
And the thing
Blanco,
and
go
the
ahead.
thing about
Go
the
ahead.
Raiders, go ahead.
Blanco just made a statement. If you want to put that up, then finish your thought. Because I got a point on that.
Hmm.
You can finish your thought.
So okay, and so with 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 the with them getting injured with what's my man's name Herbert, with
Mm-hmm.
him not being able to take the team over to that point where they can really win games,
Right.
it's not gonna really play out the way they're thinking is gonna play out. And the
Right.
Raiders, and this is the thing, they start off fast. And if the
Mm-hmm.
Raiders, we play them in week 2, if we can steal that game from them in week 2, we
Mm-hmm.
can put a little, a little monkey
If
in
we can shock him at
a
home.
monkey wrench. Yeah, we could put a
Yeah.
monkey wrench in their business because they're
Okay.
not winning their first couple games, going undefeated 3-0 or whatever. We got a chance to put them on their back leg,
Behind.
so to
Okay.
speak.
So to go into a Blanco's point real quick,
Mhm.
no, it's still coaching. Strength and conditioning is strength and conditioning. But if your coaching staff has a style of football that just pounds and pounds and pounds, there's only so much strength and coach conditioning can do. They're not magicians. The body is the body. If the body breaks, guess what? It is time to heal. If you keep putting your legs in places where it's gonna run into other legs, like aggressive play is going to always lead to injuries at some point. There is no way around it. The question is a matter of gambling. How much injuries are you going to get by the end of the season?
He said Justin Herbert's going to have a monster season. He always has
He has a monster
statistically
season. A monster
monster
season? Yeah, he
season.
does. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the
He
league.
came into the league having a monster season. Almost threw for 5,000
Uh
yards.
huh.
Like, so I get that he can have a monster season, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not doubting that part. It's the intangible part of can you win the game for your
Right.
team, and he
So
hasn't been able to show that yet.
And I don't want to get bogged down on other teams and focus on the Raiders a second and say the biggest problem the Raiders are going to have is can we win enough games in the first like 8 games and kind of just lead that into the end of the season where the Chargers are going to start having some injury issues and kind of take a spot from them or take a couple of games from them, take one game from them, one game from the Broncos, and sure enough, by the end of the season, we're competing for the playoffs. Because again, their weakness is going to be will they be healthy at the end of the season? Right? Because if you can catch one of their big players out by the end of the season, we could steal a game or two. And again, Kubiak's style of play is going to be much more methodic, right? Kubiak wants to run a lot of plays. He wants to control the tempo of the game, and he is not going to be a pound, 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 pound. Even though he is a run first, but he's not an in between the tackle or guard run first. He's more of an outside zone run first. So he does prioritize your team being healthy later on in the season, and those are the teams that win Super Bowls. Again,
Yeah.
even the other Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, he's only won one Super Bowl against his brother, and after that, guess what? His teams have had this exact same issues: injury at the end of the season. That's been their thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the thing that might have shocked a lot of people were Kansas City. They slated Kansas City to come back and lead the division again. A lot of people thought this was the end of Kansas City, and I didn't think that at all because they had one bad
No,
season and they had an
exactly.
injury with Mahomes.
Exactly.
Now, the
Yeah.
good thing that they do have in their favor is they did bring back Bieniemy, because they understood that they need to be able to
Mm.
call those plays
Oh,
to that
yeah, yeah,
level
yeah.
that they haven't been able to call. And this is
Yeah.
one thing that I've heard that they've been doing with Mahomes now is they're going to utilize the run game. Now they're starting to have him more under center because they have K9 there from Seattle. So they're going to rely on the run game, and the run game is going to be better than when they had Kareem Hunt and when they had Pacheco. They have a more consistent running back. Now the question is, how good can he be? Because they're going to need some other running back to help him too. They don't want to burn him out as well. But as far as having Bieniemy back, they're going to have their old swagger back, but for me, I'm going to say that Mahomes not going to have the Mahomes type year that he normally has because he's going to be coming back from his injury. So it's usually going to take a year in order for them to get acclimated again. But I do think they will be more competitive than they were last year and probably make the playoffs.
Right. So Pappy here just said the division is going to be between Chargers and Chiefs, and the Raiders are going to be 5-12, 6-11. First of all, Blanco, are you a Raider fan or are you a Bronco fan? Because
he's a Giants. He's from New York. I think he's a New York Giants fan.
Because 5 to 6 wins is actually not bad for the Raiders for the first year of Kubiak. A lot of Raiders would say 5 to 6 is not terrible. I am anticipating around 8 or 9. Here's the thing, though, and I'm going to keep saying this. The division belongs to the Chiefs until somebody has beaten them enough to prove that no, the division is no longer theirs. I would say the division belongs to them. But the idea that the Chargers specifically are all of a sudden going to turn it around is like, oh yeah, no, we've been saying that for the past 4 years of Justin Herbert's career. I'm sorry, what are we talking about? He's been in the league for 5 years. We've been saying that for 5 years. And I'm going to say, well, what's different now? Nothing is different. Mike McDaniels, I don't think is a good enough difference to make that much of a difference. So in this division, the Raiders have to be survivors. And what that means is you're going to have to fight. Every game has to be a fight. Guess what? This is the reason I've been saying the Raiders are going to be extremely excited to watch this year. For anyone who's just a fan of football in general, that means you too, Papi. And I know you're here because I know you're feeling us. I know you're feeling the Raiders, and you're feeling me and Black. I know you're feeling us. But let me tell you what I'm feeling about the Raiders. No matter what, the Raiders is going to be really fun to watch in 2026 because every game with the Raiders is going to be competitive. I'm telling you, the Raiders are going to be knocking fools in the mouth. Because that's what we didn't do last year. We didn't knock fools in the mouth last year. We're going to be doing that this year. We're going to win 5 or 6 games. Sure, we might win 5 or 6 games, but you know what? We are going to give the Chiefs, the Broncos, and them Chargers one hell of a fight every single time we see them. And that's going to eventually lead to something, maybe not this year, but maybe next year. Because again, what the Raiders are going to focus on this year is just being more competitive.
That's what it is. Be more competitive.
Yeah, and you did say it. Mahomes' bad year is this. Yeah, I get it. Mahomes' bad year was great, but the Raiders' bad years is not going to continue. That's the point. The Raiders are just going to be more competitive. We just have a more competitive team, a more competitive coaching staff, and we're going to talk about the second segment, why the Raiders will be better in 2026. But just to mention that our division didn't get any better. They didn't get it. Each team on our division didn't improve in any significant way. Everyone's still the same. The Chiefs are still the same.
I would argue that they haven't. I would argue that they've at least taken a half a step back because if you look at it, all 3 of those quarterbacks were injured. All of them. Blow Dix, he's going to have to take a year to get back on track. Mahomes going to have to take a year to get back on track. And sure, Herbert, I mean, his injury was to his hand, so it's not as bad. But, I mean, like, if he got touched last year, he can get touched this year, especially under this McDaniels offense. So I think that I think they're taking half a step at least, or a step back. And if we can take a step forward or 2 steps forward, then we can gain some ground.
Okay, so back to Pappy here because hey, if you put it up, I'm gonna engage. I love it. I love it. You put it up, we engage with it. The Raiders will be everyone's get back. How? How could that even be remotely possible? Because this thing. Everyone can make a statement like that, but now I'm going to challenge you to write it. Why do you think that? We will be everybody's get back game this year. You're talking about, are you talking about last year? Are you dreaming? Are you still dreaming of last year? Or are you talking about this year? Because when this segment that we're doing right now ends, the next segment, I'm going to show you exactly why the Raiders will not be everybody's get back in. In fact, I think the Raiders are going to be one of the most competitive teams this year. I'm not saying we're gonna win 9 games. I'm saying the Raiders will be a more competitive team this year.
Yeah, I
You see what I'm
agree.
saying?
And it's been, I mean, historically, I mean, recent history that, when teams need a win, they play the Raiders and that gets them back on
Oh,
track.
he's a
But
hater. He's just a hater.
that's just because we haven't really had an identity.
Yeah.
That was our identity to see if we can just get lucky and win a game or two or
Right.
whatever. But that's not where we at right now. So I don't think that's going to be the
Papi, I thought you
situation
were
with us.
serious. I thought you were serious. But now
Yeah,
you're just trolling. All right, it's okay. I'll take a troll. We'll take a troll. It's fine. I hit the like and subscribe, though. But if your argument is since Al Davis died, the Raiders have become nothing, we can't even beat Ohio State, it's just like, okay. What sport are you watching? We're talking about football, right? Like football, not football Americana. Because you're right. The Roll Tides can probably beat the Raiders in soccer. I agree with that statement. If you put the
Alabama
Roll Tides,
having a hard time winning them themselves right now. So
No. I'm not even. No. Look, if it's a game of soccer, yeah, I think Alabama can beat the Raiders. But if you're talking about a game of football, like American football, I'm sorry, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Well, shout out to Al Davis. His birthday was this past weekend too. The genius,
on the 4th
aka
of July.
the Maverick.
Freedom reigns.
Happy belated heavenly birthday.
No, I if you look at a schedule, okay, so let's jump on this real quick. Look at the Raiders schedule and tell me which team are going to beat the Raiders as a get back.
Here we go.
Which team do you think on here is gonna go? Oh shoot, this is like the Jets, because guess what? Week 1, we're not a get back game yet. Week 2, we don't even get to a quote unquote get back game to like week 8. If the Saints beat us, fine. Saints are good. And we're playing the Chiefs. If they beat us, that's not a get-back game. We're playing the New England. Look, where's the get-back here? Where is it at?
Yeah, because all those teams they're going to be running at a certain level. It can't be the Jets. It ain't going to be Seattle. You can arguably say Denver, but I don't know. We played them twice in a short period of time. The Browns, they're not going to be hot like that.
Right.
Maybe the Chargers later in the season, not Tennessee or Arizona. So yeah, where is this get back game going to be
Where's
at?
The get back
Actually,
game?
Yeah, good point.
And this is why I've been saying the Raiders are going to be competitive this year. I'm not saying win a lot. I'm saying we're going to give a lot of teams issues, because guess what? The beautiful thing about the Raiders is everything is new. As you're going to see, even a lot of our positional players are new. A lot of teams just don't really know the Raiders this year. So I think by week 7, you're going to start seeing like, okay, because this is the frustrating part is like people making it seem like the Raiders are going to go out there and just lay flat. It's like, you do know this is the NFL, and these players are players that want to get paid, right? We have players who want to get paid. We have players that have gotten paid. You're going to see a much more competitive Raider.
I agree.
We lost 1 or 2 games in a row. Okay, I want to see it. Tell me exactly where it's going to come from. Is it going to be the running game because the Raiders are going to be worse in the running game, or because the Raiders are going to be worse in the passing game? So you're saying a get back win is someone's going to put 34 on us. Okay, sure. Where is it coming from? Well, which side of the ball they're going to put 34 on? Because our DBs are going to be worse this year than they were last year? Because that's not the case. What? Because the linebackers are worse this year than last year? Well, that's also not the case. The D-line is worse this year than last year? Oh, guess what? That's also not the case. So no. Unless you're trolling. If you're not trolling,
he's serious.
If you're not trolling, tell me where the weakness is coming from. What would lead to the weakness? Because you would have to say you don't think Quay Walker's a good enough linebacker. Nico Bedin is not a good enough linebacker. Kwity Paye is not a good enough edge. Again, tell me, where is it coming from?
Yeah, here's another good point is, will Andy Reid not get past happy? He has a history of abandoning the run early. And I can
Oh, he
see
will
that
be.
being a
So will
thing.
I.
I can see that being a thing, especially second half of the season, once they realize that Kenneth Walker is not going to be enough by himself.
Uh-huh. And the thing is, systematic issues are systematic issues, and the Chiefs have a systematic issue at running backs. It's at some point it's got to be a scheme thing. Now, Eric Bieniemy does, maybe does bring some of that back, but from what Black said earlier, number one, every team in our division didn't get significantly better. They just moved some things around to try and get more optimization. But the Raiders did get significantly better as a team, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And so
He's saying to make sure you stream every Sunday. Yeah, he'll be streaming every
I
Sunday.
am.
I'll be streaming on my own channel every Sunday. For those who have not checked out my channel, my content is quite a bit different from Black. That's why we work so well. So go check that out and
Yeah,
experience.
I like the shorts that you put out.
I know.
Those is nice.
I'm good at my game. I'm good at my game. I just need more time and resources. But we got plans. We got plans.
So let's get to Denver, because we are going to go over the
Let's get to
position upgrades from our squad.
Oh,
And
dude, I can't wait.
let's look at Denver now. They were on top of the AFC West. I think
They
they've
were on top.
taken a step back because, for one, their defense isn't going to be like it was last year, because I think they have a couple changes in the
Because they lost
defense.
some people, right?
Yeah, they lost some people, and the thing about them were they were winning games because of their defense. Now, this is not the same Raider team that can't score 16 points. I promise you, we'll
Exactly.
score more than 16 points. And if we
we're
can
not
score,
starting with rookie quarterback. Look at Papi's statement. We're not starting with rookie quarterback. We can get on that topic later. But if you're saying what rookie, we're not starting with a rookie quarterback, right?
no, we're not. No, so
again,
I think Denver. I just think Denver. They're not going to be in the same position. That defense is only going to hold up so much.
who did
We're
Denver
gonna
lose?
make sure that our offense is more prolific than 16
Right.
points, and
Who
so
did
that's
Denver
going to
lose?
put pressure on Denver. Yeah, they got Waddle, but what are they going to do? Is it going to be like Waddle get 12 catches for 150 yards,
Exactly.
120 yards, or whatever? But
Exactly.
are they going to scheme him right? I mean, what is it that are they going to do?
Look,
And
I
Bo
will be
Nixon.
fair. Okay,
And
sorry.
Bo Dix, he's another one of those quarterbacks that, when the moment comes, something about how he plays makes him either come up short, or him and Sean Payton kind of, is like Wally and it's like the Beaver and the dad Ward, and they always going back and forth. So
Yo, what up, sir,
there's a
bro?
lot to be desired there, in my opinion. So I just don't think Denver have it like that.
Here's what I'll say. If you ask me today, and you are, so I'm going to answer. What team would be best in the division? I do think I'm thinking Denver. And the reason why I'm thinking Denver is Denver went really far last year. They went really far, surprisingly, because again, remember, they made the playoff in their first year of Sean Payton, and they went even farther last year. They did get Waddle, so that's really going to help. Their really hang up is their quarterback. But in his third year, I think we're going to start seeing some serious juice. So no, I think my favorite to win a division is going to be Denver. As much as I don't like Sean Payton as a coach, I do think they regressed the least from what they were last year.
Even with Bo Diggs with his injury for his ankle, and they said it was worse than they led on. So I think he's not going to be able to use that running away from the defense to make big plays. I don't think that's going to be a thing for them this year.
I would say I don't think Sean Payton's QBs are generally runners. I don't think he's every quarterback now can generally run, but I don't think he focuses on runners particularly.
He's making a reference to his award. Aren't you being a little rough on the Beaver?
Yeah. So I'm still voting the Broncos to come out on top of the division when it's all said and done. The question is, can 4 people in the division in a division make the playoffs? Because that would be interesting. Because here's the thing: if the Raiders somehow squeeze into the playoffs, we're gonna probably end up playing an AFC West team at some point.
That's true.
Yeah, and again, if we're talking about like injuries and the type of injuries that not the Broncos, the Chargers tend to get, that will start to come. That will start to be like the surprising part, because if we play the Chargers in the playoffs, well, guess what? It's going to be a home game for us no matter what, even if it's at SoFi, right?
Yeah. What's up with Cerebral? Cerebral says, I got the Las Vegas Raiders finishing the season 7-10. I think we sweep the Denver Broncos this season. See? And I think we could have beat them last year as bad as we played. We just couldn't score points. And I think I just don't, I'm not seeing it. But I mean, that's a good thing about the show that we have, is we don't see everything the same. And I can see what you're saying. I just don't think that Denver, their defense is not going to be as tough. I think that quarterback situation is going to be a work in progress this year. They already were a work in progress. They just ended up being in the playing really, really well, and that defense was locked in. And you know that's how Denver played. That's how they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. It was the defense was locked in. I just don't think that defense is at that level.
So Pappy's right. I do think the Broncos will take a tiny step back, but I also think that they can still win a division with a tiny step back. So that's my point. Like they can still win. Yeah. Because the division, everyone but the Raiders will take a tiny step back in the division because the Raiders are going to be better. Guess what? All we need to do is to win 2 of the divisional games, and we're already done better than last year. Imagine if the Raiders end up sweeping even one of our divisional rivals.
Nice. Yeah.
Again, the possibilities for Raiders just having a much better season than we expected is really, really high. And that's why Las Vegas is putting the Raiders at a pretty high rate right now. Guess what? The Raiders been told we're going to win 7 games. It's pretty incredible given that we won 3 games last year. That tells you that everyone thinks the Raiders have gotten 100% better as a team. Literally, we won 3 games last year, and now we're projected to win 7 games. Yeah, that's 100% better. And again, if you look at the Raiders team, we have gotten 100% better on every single position on the field, as we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah. And Poppy Blanco said, how much you want to bet President starts the first 4 games at best? Mendoza going to be the starter by week 4.
I would bet you $0 on that. I would bet you $0 on that.
Poppy, you know, you're my brother, Poppy, so I'll take the bet. I'll take the bet. Let's like a medium steak dinner, not like a Fleming steak dinner.
I ain't got that kind of money yet.
Me neither, but I know we gonna do it.
But when I say $0, I'm like, yeah, that's a very real possibility. I don't understand, and that wouldn't even be that would be a win-win for the Raiders. Again, this season for the Raiders is a win-win no matter what. Yeah, there's this is a bet that I'll take. You will not get any substantially negative news from the Raiders this coming season. Nothing negative is going to. It's all generally going to be positive. Kirk Cousins breaks his leg in the first game. Well, guess what? Mendoza starting in the second game. Let's go. Yeah, exactly. I'm knock on wood. I don't want my quarterback to break a leg, but the chances are just there for the Raiders to just profit this year.
Yeah. Bush Raider talk. Bush Raider 1986 was happening with you. Welcome.
Yo, what up, Bush?
And so Frank Weber says at this point the Chargers and the Donkeys are tougher than the Queefs.
I agree.
I think
tougher. Here, let me explain. I think tougher. I don't think that's gonna equal better. I think tougher, because both the Chargers and the Broncos have adopted a philosophy of just hard-nosed football. They will be tougher, but I also think as the season progresses, they're going to be more injured. Because again, the part of why the Chiefs have been so good is because the Chiefs have been pretty healthy, especially in their most important positions. And the Broncos, not the Broncos, and the Chargers have not really been that.
Ooh. Yeah, I see Bush Raider going in right now. Let's get to the Raiders then. The disrespect. I said the disrespect. They got us at plus 1,500. So here's the thing. We've talked about the Raiders, how we've got better. I can see why they think that we're going to finish last in the division
Right.
because we have new quarterback. No matter who it is that start, we're going to have a new offensive line, new head coach, new defensive coordinator. We got everything, a lot of things brand new. So I understand that they got us at the bottom. The issue I have is the plus 1,500. Like, there's no chance in the world that the Raiders could somehow win the division. And I get it. We probably can't win the division.
I got a question for you. I got a question for everyone. So new coach, new this, new that. When was the last time the Raiders got new coach and ended the season with a worse record than their previous season?
It's a good question. It's a good question. Need to look that up. I'm gonna look that up in a minute. And so the Raiders, so with all these new things, it's almost virtually impossible what they're saying is for the Raiders to win the division. And I don't think it's virtually impossible. I just think it's improbable, highly improbable. I mean, because if the Raiders even got to second place in the division, that's like you said, a win situation. We in a win-win. That's a win-win-win situation. Like we can't go wrong there.
Sorry, quick question. Last year we won 3 games. How many games did we win before last year? Antonio Pierce.
3 games.
I mean, 3 games.
We won 3 games.
Right?
I think we won 3. Did we win 3 games with Antonio Pierce or 4 games? Was it?
I think we won 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. 4. So what we won 1 less game, right? Last year. I guess we technically had it. Did we have a better roster? No, we didn't have a better roster last year.
No, what messed us up?
No, we lost everyone last year.
Really, we were better than the 3-win team last year. The reason why we did not win the games that we were supposed to, because we were having issues with play calling with Chip Kelly, and he was fighting with Pete Carroll, and then Pete Carroll was fighting with Chip Kelly, but come to find out, Pete Carroll was also fighting with Patrick Graham, and you can't win games when your head office is divided.
Right.
And we're a better team last year than the year before that, but the record did not show that.
Exactly. I think we were a better team last year than the year before that. There was just a lot more confusion last year because when Antonio Pierce was coach, it seemed like we gave him more of a free range than this past year. Again, 3-4 games, the Raiders will be a better team this year.
Yeah. So
unless you have not been paying attention. No, I don't.
Bush Raiders say people keep counting Aiden O'Connell out. Nothing is set in stone till after training camp and preseason. Brother,
Bush, I'll tell you, I'm counting Aiden O'Connell out. I'm got him sitting in the back. He's in the back. He's in the back of the bus. I know what you're talking about. I'm not even taking him to games. I will disrespect. I still love Hayden, but come on, I'm throwing disrespect on that.
Yeah, I keep trying to tell people. For one, this is not a quarterback competition. We know who's going to start. We know Mendoza is the backup. The only way AOC gets on the field, I mean, just like hypothetically or theoretically, is if knock on wood, if you with me, is if Kirk Cousins was to get hurt in preseason or early in the season, and we just really want to keep Mendoza off the field as long as possible. But what I'll know is that if we do put in Aiden O'Connell, that means either Kirk Cousins needs to come back within those 4 weeks because Aiden O'Connell is going to get hurt, or is it far enough in the season where we could just go and ride with Mendoza? But I don't even think O'Connell is going to be on the roster. Well, let me not say that because I think he will be on the roster at the beginning of the season. I just don't think he'll be on the roster after the trade deadline.
Trade deadline. Yeah, exactly. Trade deadline.
Right.
AOC is the insurance, and I think AOC is the perfect insurance. The only problem is you can't really stick him in a practice squad, right? Because we're only gonna really have 3 quarterbacks, right? And right now we have 4. Can we have 4 quarterbacks? So that's the problem. That's a problem. You can't have.
We barely can have 3.
You can have 3. So Aiden O'Connell will most likely get traded.
Yeah. So he says, fun fact: O'Connell first 21 games is better than Kirk's first 21 games. Okay, as true as that may be, right? I know that Aiden O'Connell can't throw for 4,000 yards.
because it's
I
never
know
done
that.
it.
Matter of fact, his first 17 starts, although it took 3 seasons to get that, he still didn't throw for 4,000 yards. We're talking about Kirk Cousins, who's thrown for 4,000 yards 7 times. Seven
Right.
times. Now, to put that in perspective, the Raiders quarterback in our whole franchise history has only done it 6 times. 4 times with Derek Carr, 1 time with Carson Palmer, 1 time with Rich Gannon.
Right.
So those quarterbacks are night and day. I mean, you can look at those numbers and try to massage it to make it look like Aiden O'Connell was that guy. But Aiden O'Connell was the only quarterback that was on this roster, and we went out and got 2 quarterbacks
Yeah.
to above him.
I
If he was really as advertised, then these coaches that said all these good things about him, that
right.
they would give him a shot to be the franchise or to be the starting quarterback, and it
Yeah.
just hasn't happened yet, and it is probably not going to happen. It won't happen here.
Yeah. At this point, the OAC thing is I don't get it. It seems more like a a a lack of willingness to move into a more positive future, because I just don't know how you think Aiden O'Connell would be anything remotely close to significant with the Raiders. I don't even see it. How? I mean, 2 of our quarterbacks will have to be injured.
Right. And so Cerebral, I like that name. Cerebral says Fernando Mendoza more than likely will not start until week 9 or 11 for the Las Vegas Raiders.
And that's exactly what I said too.
I don't think if think he starts if Kirk Cousins is playing competently, which he's a
Right.
competent quarterback. So I don't. The only way is if he get injured. And
And
just like my boy
if
Frank
he's
Webb say, the only way Mendoza
right.
start this season is via injury.
Yeah. If Mendoza is starting week 9, it means injury or the season is going badly and we need to turn it around. Put in Mendoza and let's kick start that whole entire thing early. And when you look at other teams who did not start their rookie quarterback, that's generally how it goes. Again, the Chiefs are the perfect example, right? They had Alex Smith in this first season, right? Patrick Mahomes started the last 4 games, maybe, I think. That's the
Yeah.
example, right? That is the example. So week 9, that means the Raiders are like 2-6.
But even
Right?
that, well, yeah, 2-6, I can see making that
Yeah,
change.
two
Two
and
and
six.
six, I can see making that
Right.
change.
Because week
AOC would
9 is
be the number
after the
two.
bye week.
AOC would be the number 2 quarterback all season. Only as an emergency quarterback, but he's not the number 2 quarterback in that room.
Yeah, I don't. Again, why would AOC be? Why?
Because the only reason why is if you really want to have Mendoza sit out the year, right? He's just going to be the backup, the emergency backup, and he's just
Right.
by proxy he'll be the number 2 quarterback, but not because he's the number 2 quarterback in the room. Because he's
Yeah.
not better than Kirk Cousins unless Kirk Cousins get injured or he just hits a wall. That wall that Max Kellerman was talking about Tom Brady was going to hit. That's the only way that's going to happen. Other than that, I just don't see it.
Do people really think O'Connell is like actually that good? Because he's really not.
You know what it is, bro? You know what it is? He's the emotional pick. Like I was talking about earlier on a
It
live that I
must be the
did earlier about
mustache.
we attach ourselves to these players and we
Exactly.
have this affinity for them, and then it's almost like they can't do no wrong. And then
Right.
either they love them or they hate them, like how they doing Max now. Like a lot of the fans are hating on Max now because he meant one thing to them, and now since he left, oh now it's forget you. Same thing with Derek Carr. Like people just could not let it go, and it kind of
Yeah, I
divided the
guess.
nation because of our love for the player instead of looking at what the situation is on the field.
I guess I'm just built different because I've seen the best chance AOC had to start was with Antonio Pierce, and he couldn't get the job then too. Like who is he gonna beat out this time? I don't know. And I do not think Kubiak has a mind for emergency concept. I think if Cousins goes down, it's going to be Mendoza.
Yeah.
Right. Unless if Cousins go down in the preseason.
Right.
Then we can
see
have a different conversation. But no, if Mendoza goes down when the season starts, it's going to. Sorry, if Cousins goes, it's going to be Mendoza.
Fernando and McCoy are still unsigned by the
for
Vegas
two
Raiders.
for two different reasons. I actually covered it on my channel for two different reasons. Mendoza, it's not a thing. It's just a money thing. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think
McCoy
it's a big deal.
McCoy is an injury. I think he hasn't been signed because they're still checking that knee out.
Yeah, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. So make sure y'all hit that like button for us one time for the one time on both channels.
Yeah, people do
let's
love
see.
the underdogs. People, you're right, Amber. People do love the underdogs, but I don't think AOC is an underdog. I think he's just under the dogs.
And let me address this. Also, Kirk has been a downtrend last couple of years, and Kubiak has spoken highly of Aiden and himself. Don't count Aiden out. Okay, I keep trying to explain to
I'm
people.
counting him out. You explain it because I'm counting him out.
I love you, Bush Raider, but the thing is this: he got to say those things so that way we can keep his trade value high. Because he's not going to come in there and say it's a two-man competition. He's going to build up the quarterback room entirely together, and in order for us to get a higher trade value for him, because he was projected for a 6th round, maybe we can get a 5th round or even a 4th round, but maybe a 5th round for sure. So
Right.
I just think that's politics. That's coach speak. Just like they say, everybody is doing wonderful. Everybody's not doing wonderful.
Right.
You're just saying that.
Like, guys, coaches, anybody who has a sorry. Coaches don't just come out and say terrible things about their players. I don't know why people think that's a thing that a coach will ever say. If you ask a coach about AOC, like he's supposed to be like, "Oh yeah, no, that kid sucks." No, what? Of course not. He's going to say he's good. He's a coach. So again, that's where I'm out on Aiden. I don't understand what there is to be in on.
Frank Weber says, "What's up, Webb?" He says, "The math is basic. If we had to release a quarterback, it would be AOC. There is your pecking order right there."
Can you put that calling number back up on the screen so people know that at the end of the last 30 minutes we are going to allow callings, so y'all know. But
yeah. So, yep. So let me see.
they played with a big. They're playing. Okay, I don't know.
Okay, so nothing to do with the emotions, just football. All people been saying is AO is a backup.
Right.
No one is playing Kansas City $30 million next year. It seems obvious.
No one's playing AOC.
So what you guys don't understand about Kirk Cousins' contract is they can renegotiate that. They did that to get him in under the cap and all the other stuff, so we didn't have to spend much money. They can restructure his contract if he plays well. If he just plays mid, we're going to release him. He's not gonna be a Raider quarterback if he doesn't play very well. If he plays mid, then it's questionable. But
right,
I don't know. As far as just football, answer this for me. And I love that you guys are engaging, because this what makes this Raider Nation great, is the ability to have these conversations. Is how can you guys rely on a quarterback that has not proven that he can play a full season yet? I'm talking about like 14 to 17 or 18 games. We literally we're talking about a quarterback that had to string 3 years together to get one season of starts.
Yeah, I don't.
And he's gotten worse every year. He started off 5-5. Then he went 2-5 because he got injured. Then he got injured again. Didn't play the whole year until the end of the season, and then didn't even complete a pass after the second quarter. So, like, I'm not seeing this. He's had his chance to really steal the job from. He could have stole the job from Geno. He could have stole it from Gardner Minshew. You guys can say all you guys want about these quarterbacks and their ability, but the one ability they do have is the ability to play full seasons. And AOC has not proven that. And I would not put my franchise in the hands of a quarterback I don't know can play a full season or not.
Yeah, I'm with Black on this. I've not seen any evidence. I know AOC has a good arm, but the feet are not quick enough.
Yeah,
he's honestly not as big as I thought he was. He's only like 209. That explains why you get injured. I don't see it. I'm glad if you guys do, and I know we'll just. I can't even pray for that because I don't even know what.
Maybe he finally putting it together. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't put bets on maybes.
Everybody knows. I mean, he's auditioned for that starting position in a few different times. And
Yes.
we've seen what the results have been. Yeah,
Yes.
we can think about the maybes and the what ifs. What if Kirk Cousins go out there and throw for 4,500 yards or
Exactly.
4,200 yards with
Exactly.
32 touchdowns with 10 interceptions? Like, what if he does that? Like,
Yeah.
what if, I mean, at least we've seen Kirk Cousins do that before. I haven't seen AOC do the things that we're trying to say that he might could do or possibly can do.
Exactly. And he didn't really even do it in college.
Yeah, he
Again,
didn't even do it in
he
college. He
didn't
was
do it in
injury
college.
prone there. He was
Yeah.
hurt for a year his junior year. I was saying the senior year, I was incorrect in that, but it was his junior year that he was out. And so, I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah.
And so, what is it? IML or LML says, all I need from AO is to be reliable backup. He's way more than capable. Yeah, of being a backup.
Backup. Yeah. 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 Exactly. And that's what we've always said about AOC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So put in the chat, guys. Where do you guys think the Raiders are going to end up this division? We're about to go on to what
Divisional ranking.
makes our team better. And so put in the chat, where do you think we're going to end up? In first place, second place, third place, or fourth place?
There you go. Whew.
All right, bro. You in the driver's seat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the second segment, let's talk about the Raiders, man. Let's talk about the Raiders. So the number one question that even in chat we've been seeing is apparently people don't understand why the Raiders are going to be better this year. So we're going to do a full positional breakdown of the Raiders. We're going to look at each position and we will prove to you that the Raiders have gotten better in each position of the football field. And that's the reason why we keep saying the Raiders will be a better football team this year. So this is the reasons why the Raiders will be a football team this year. 8 reasons why. Starting with simple one, the tight end position. Talk to me, Black. Why would the Raiders be better in the tight end position this year over last year?
That's a good question, and that's a good place for you to start. I think we'll be better this year because one, um, we'll be schemed better in our position. I think
Yes.
Mayer will have a better season this year than he's always. I think he'll have what they would call a breakout season because I think he didn't have no touchdowns last year, maybe one. I don't think, but I think
And he
he'll
was
have
out
a
for
few touchdowns.
like 2-3 games last year.
Yeah, I think he'll get more touchdowns. I think Brock Bowers. I mean, knock on wood. I mean, barring injury, we already know what's going to
Right.
happen with him out there.
Right.
So, and then we also got Ian Thomas, a blocking tight end.
Tight end.
I think, and the most important thing is we're going to run the ball. When you run the
Yes.
ball, you take the pressure off the pass game, and they're already going to have Pitts trying to scheme for Brock. So I think that's why we'll be better at the tight end position. We haven't added much there, but I think what happened
We
is
didn't need much. Yeah.
we didn't need to, but usually what happened is Mayer comes in when Bowers was hurt. And,
Right.
and so now with both of them on the field together and Kubiak doing what he does, I think we will be better in that position all the way around.
I agree with that, and I think when we're talking about getting better positionally, one, Brock Bauer, it was injured last year, right, for a few games that did take away some yards and touchdowns, possibly. So he's going to be healthier, right? Michael Mayer is actually going to start like having full season now because remember, in his first season, he didn't play a single game because he had some issue, some family something issue that we didn't really know about. And you're right, Kubiak is going to run more 12 and 13 personnel, which is going to put more of the big guys out there. So yeah, even just in tight ends, even though we didn't add anybody in the tight end position, we are already going to get better in that position because the players that we have will just be on the field more often.
Yes. But I mean, we're going to just get better just by proxy of Bowers not getting injured, and then they rushed him back early with his knee in a brace and all that. Like with a sprained knee, you can't rush that back. But I get it. He's a football player. The season wasn't gone yet, so we were just trying to tread water until he can get better. But that's not going to be the situation this year, barring injury.
Right. And then we move from there. We move to the running back position. And when you look at that, even that will probably get better. One, because Genty, we've said it before. It wasn't the best rookie year, even though he still put up 1,300 yards all-purpose yards, but it still wasn't the best year. So we do believe that Gentry will just be better this year because one, we're going to run the ball more. Remember, we're just going to run a lot more plays in general, barring a catastrophe. We should be running more plays in general because our coach is also the offensive play caller. So there's going to be a lot of synergy in that position right away. And also remember, we're bringing in a rookie, Mike Washington, who was going to be able to give Gentry good relief because last year we really didn't have a very good secondary backup for running back.
Right.
Who do we have last year?
So we had it was Zamir White was there, was he? Yeah, he was there.
Zamir White.
We had Mostert. They didn't even let him play much at running back.
He didn't play very much.
Who else did we have at running back? We had one more running back.
Dylan Lobby, he's still there.
Yeah, Lobby's there.
The point there is we have two running back now with two different running styles, meaning that the options of play calling for the running back position is just going to be better. So yeah, I do think the Raiders running backs are going to get more yards this year. So again, the tight ends will probably get more yards, and the running backs will probably get more yards. So already the Raiders are already better in two positions, right?
Oh, see, these are our running backs last year. See, look at this. Mostert, he should have played more, I believe, but he was out early because his child was born. Chris Collier, Dylan Lobby. Those guys ain't they're running backs, but they're not a threat. Like Mike Washington Jr., I call him bad intentions because the boy runs violently and he gets on the pedal and he runs this zone read nicely.
Well, he does for a big guy.
And I just see him being a problem because either one of those players are home run hitters. Either one of them can really bounce out at any moment. So I think as long as you have whoever on the field, you got to have the same respect for him. Yeah, granted that Gentry's going to get most of the carries, and you got a game plan for him more than anything else. But when he is off the field, you can't let your hair down or take a breath because if you do that, what's going to happen is Mike Washington Jr. is going to do what he does.
I don't know if Kubiak runs any split backs, but again, if there's any kind of split back formations, that's just way more options in the field at running back than we had last year. We did not have that many options last year. We have more. That's two positions already. And when we move to the wide receiver position, we get the same story, right? The room will probably improve from last year because there's just more options now in that position than we had last year, right? Last year, we're talking just mainly Chris Tucker. Is that his name?
Who?
Our receiver, Tucker. Is it Chris?
I'm thinking Trey Tucker.
Trey Tucker. I'm thinking the comedian, Chris Tucker. I'm thinking Rush Hour.
Right.
So this year at wide receiver, right, we didn't really add much except for Malik Benson, but you can already see that we will be better even at the wide receiver position, right? There's going to be more options of more people catching the ball.
Yeah, even in the running back position, we're going to have we have a fullback also.
We also have a fullback,
something that we haven't had in a while, and the
last fullback
our run game is going to be a thing to deal with. And you think the running back room will be Gentry, Washington, Lobby, or Hemby? And I agree. In Hemby, he's somebody that can prove himself to be worthy. But that third running back, I'm not really relying on him like that because Gentry, he's came into camp looking very, very good. I think he's going to be ready to tote the tater. And the thing about it is he almost got 1,000 yards considering as bad as our line was. Now that we have an actual scheme and all that, I think he's even going to do better. So we're just going to get better just by play calling alone. Because what did Chip Kelly say? Well, we're going to run the ball. What did he do on first down at the beginning of the game? Play action. And then what did we do? We thought we were fooling everybody. We wasn't fooling. You can't run play action if you don't run the ball. Halftime comes, they ask Pete Carroll, so what do you guys need to do to make this game whatever? And what would he say? Run the
Run
ball.
the
We need to
ball.
run the
Yeah.
ball. And then guess what we do coming out of the half? First play action. So I don't think we're going to run into that situation. So by merit of play calling and the players that we have in there, our running back room will be different and better. And like you said, the wide receiver room is going to be better because these receivers that we've been trying to see, the Jimmy
Right.
Bashes, the Dante Thorntons, we're going to see what they got this year. We
And
brought in
somebody,
Naylor. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
we'll see.
And somebody just made a point that's good, which is that it's make or break season for Trey Tucker. It's actually a make or break season for a lot of Raider players. A theme
Yes.
that I've been saying this season is the Raiders are a very young team, and everybody's competing for mostly their first contract, meaning the heart is just going to be more visibly present. I don't know how else to say this. The Raiders are just a better team because everyone has something to play for. Right? For many of the players, it's a make or break season. They gotta do something, they gotta show up. And I think a lot of those players are going to start showing up this year. So again, tight end, we're better just from more experience. Running back, we're better because we have better personnel. Wide receiver, we're better because we just have more people who are going to play. And now we get to the offensive line, and then it just blows up completely because we're going to be much better in that position because last year that was a complete shit show.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for the interaction in the chat with LML. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for showing up, brother.
Yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button so when we go on, you can pop back on and we can track this thing together because this is going to be an exciting year for us. So, guys, make sure you hit the like button for us right now.
Make sure like button. Make sure if you haven't hit the like because people do see that as you're going through YouTube. The likes do help. Again, I'm already said it before you left. When the old line comes together, we have unimaginable potential, and I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
And
it all starts
that's gonna
there.
take time. It's gonna take like 3 to 5 weeks. And I think we can say this: the Raiders will probably start slower than everybody else in the division because we just have more new things happening, right? So we will probably start slower, but I think as the season progresses, the Raiders are gonna start picking up steam.
Yeah, so that wide receiver room that is left to be desired because we don't have a big name there. There's no 1,000-yard receiver there, but I just think that makes it a better in a weird kind of way that you don't know who to expect to do what.
It's the opportunities. The opportunities are there, and out of opportunity comes review. When you have opportunities, when somebody breaks out. And the opportunity for a Raider to break out in many positions is really there, especially wide receiver, where you could potentially have 2 players who have some kind of breakout.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go to O-line. Let's talk about the O-line. Yeah, let's talk about the O-line. And why would the Raiders be better this year? Because again, even the O-line is significantly better because again, we fixed the one area where the biggest issue was which is center.
And you start there anyway. You got to start with the center because as your center goes, the whole O-line goes.
Exactly.
If they think the O-line is a punk, if the center is a punk, they think the whole O-line is a punk.
And the last time the Raiders had good O-line, we had Rodney Hudson. We had a really good center, right? That was the last time we had a really good O-line. Rodney Hudson, Donald Penn, Osemele.
Yeah, Kalechi.
Yeah. That was the last time we had a good line. The center was a centerpiece of that. And now we are right back to that, where the center is a centerpiece of the offensive line. And he is a very good one.
Yeah. So, the O-line is going to definitely be better because we're going to have Colton Miller back. I mean, granted, he could have came back earlier last year, but just was no reason to. He just needed to get fully healthy. I know people have questions about JPJ. I don't have that many questions about him.
Right.
I think he's a consummate teammate. I really love what he brings to the table. Sure, you do need to temper him down a little bit, but that's because he kept trying to feel like he needed to prove himself. Because you have people saying that he can't grasp the offense. And he's obviously can do that. I mean, he's a young player. Give him some time. Then they were saying he's injury prone because of concussions. That is a concern. He did have two concussions in his 2 seasons. Like One was in the OTAs his rookie year, and then last year he had a concussion last year. But I think that comes from him doing too much. But we have an O-line coach now that's an OG and gonna tell him to, you know what I'm saying, like temper that. And I think that he will do that. And I think if we're not playing mind games with him. You shouldn't do that to a young player because you can kind of mess up a trajectory of a player career by playing mind games with him too early.
Right.
And now that he knows where his position is, just like something that the Raiders did. Last year they had him only at guard, right? I'm talking about in the paperwork.
Right.
Now they put center and guard.
Okay.
Yeah, so that lets him like, hey, look, y'all value me because he had to fight AP to be the center when our center went down. Then Pete Carroll was essentially like, I'm not about to put my whole old line behind a rookie center or a 1-year center, so 1-year player. So, you know, Pete Carroll dropped the ball there. So, you know, it kind of was a mind game there.
Okay. But if the O-line gets better, and it is better, that will automatically make the rest of the offense run more efficiently because the O-line is kind of the foundation of the offense. If the O-line isn't running well, the offense generally won't. We're not even talking quarterback yet, which we definitely got better at because Kirk Cousins is better than what we had last year, right? At least close to what we had, better than what we had last year.
No, he's better than everything we've had since Carr left. And questionably, he might be even better than Carr, questionably.
So the question is this: better O-line, more options at running back, more options at tight end, more options at wide receiver. How could that turn into a worse offensive performance than last year? I don't think it can.
No, I don't think so either. What's up with Cool Kev? What's up, brother? Yeah, I definitely don't think that. I mean, just our offensive line improvement alone is going to make our team better.
Right. Yo, cool. What up, brother? So remember, in about 10 minutes, we're going to open it up to you guys if you want to call in with something that's on your mind. Because when we move to the defense, it's the same story. Here's what you can say. To make that simple, last year, who did the Raiders have on defense? Max Crosby, right? This year, you can name at least 2 new players who are equally as good as Max Crosby in their respectful position, right? Nakobe Dean is one of the better linebackers in his position, right? Quay Walker is also one of the better linebackers in his position, right? We got our best cornerback coming back, so we improved there. We got some rookies, Jamal McCoy, as well as Ezekiel Masses, to compete on the other side. So we did improve there. And we're also changing our formation to a 3-4, which fits better with the personnel that we have. Plus, we picked up somebody on the other side who, even if he's not as good as Max Crosby, Kwity Paye is certainly better than we've had in Malcolm Koonce and Tyree Wilson the past 2 years. So again, even on defense, every single position on defense, the Raiders have improved on, either from free agency, from people playing more, or just from drafting better. So again, even on defense, at every single position, the Raiders have at least one major improvement. Because even safety, I think Tradian Stooks is better than everyone we had last year as safety.
For sure. That goes without being said because we had Paul Malu playing out of position.
Exactly. And then we also brought in Johnson to play a position, not even safety. I'm talking the other Johnson, right?
Well, Teron,
Teron Johnson. Yeah. So even within that position of slot corner, we're even better.
Yeah, you're right. We're definitely better in the linebacker position, no matter how thin it is.
We're definitely better, yeah. And we're definitely better in the corner. We're definitely better in the safety. It's like
So, like you say, once again, where do you guys are seeing that this team is not going to be a better team? The question now is how deep it, how better, how much better are we?
That's it. So for anyone who's saying the Raiders are not going to be better, with everything we just listed, tell me how you think the Raiders are not a better team. Because the question is, how do teams get better then? If the Raiders didn't get better, if the Raiders didn't get better this year from last year, then no team is getting better. Because I don't know how else you're supposed to get better when you spend all the money you've been saving up for the past 5 years and you spend it to bring in better players. I don't know how the Raiders are not going to be a better team.
Yeah. And if you guys want to call, the numbers at the top, you can just, speak your mind, just like you said, make sure it's respectful and whatnot. If you guys want to call, you definitely can call in for the next 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, let's start doing that. The calling is going to start now, because here's what I do want to know if people call in. Do you think the Raiders are a better team going into 2026, and why do you think so? If you think they're a worse team, why do you think they are a worse team?
Yeah, because our defense. The question we have on defense though is going to be Coach Rob Leonard.
Right.
Being
okay, Dion, no. And I will also say this: we got worse in the kicking game.
Well,
because I don't know what Matt Gay is. I don't know what Matt Gay is.
Yeah, Matt.
Kyoto.
Matt A with the G being silent. I don't know what he is going to pan out to be. And I don't know what the Tokyo Toe going to pan out to be, because at the end of the day, like I said, I like our kickers to be able to kick 55, 56, 57, 58 yards.
Exactly.
And we've been blessed by having Janikowski and all that. And even to a degree, the kicker we just had, but he just Carlton. As soon as he got that bag, his numbers just started dropping. I wouldn't even mind seeing him come back if he could have got his act together. But you are right. That the kicking game is where we're in the special teams. That's where we're gonna.
That's for the unknown.
Big question mark.
But here's the thing, though. We've been so bad, especially with the return game, that even that one touchdown from that equals better than last year.
Yeah, for sure.
Just one touchdown return is better than we've had in a while. And we still got the same punter, who clearly is one of the best in the league. And I should have said 9 reasons, because the other reason is, the last reason is, the Raiders, the hype around the Raiders will just be much higher, which is going to make the players play better, in my opinion. I think the players are going to play better because the atmosphere is just better in general.
And here's a question for you. And if you guys don't want to call it, you can put questions in the chat. Just put a Q in front of your
Frank,
question.
that is a great question, Frank. That is a great question. And even without knowing directly, I still think the Raiders are going to be better. Bringing back Max just means that the defense, if we're going to use something as weird as a Madden rating, without Max, the defense was probably rated, let's say, 76, 77. With Max, I think the defense goes up to like 85. The question is, where will Max fit? And I think anywhere the Max fits on the field, he's going to make an impact. And I think that's going to be the theme for Max this year, making an impact, because I don't think he's going to have a standard position like he did in the 4-3. I think he's going to move around a lot more and be more of a disruptive player than he's been in the past. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. But the thing that concerned you is the scheme, the 3-4 scheme. Is he going to be as productive as he is? But I don't know if that's going to be the case. But what I do know is, no matter what, the team's got a scheme for him.
Right.
So I
think it could be more disruptive, potentially, because of the idea of moving him in more places. You can move him on the line, you can move him outside of the line, and you kind of use that to mess with the O-line a little bit, which, look, all we need to do is just scheme up Max Crosby to get one-on-ones. And you can technically do that better in a 3-4 than you can in a 4-3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So Max got to be willing to rotate and play different positions on the line, from side to side, because we do have the Quiddy Pays. We do have Kieron Crawford. We do have and I keep saying these guys are on Cuba deals. These guys are on Cuba deals.
We do have Hemingway. I keep saying
don't forget Tonka.
I keep saying Tonka is going to come in there and do something. So, yeah.
Yeah, Laulu.
Yep.
Geese. I don't know. And then we got 2 veterans there too. We got Booker, we got Butler. So
I'm gonna say my number one theme again. The Raiders are a very young team. They're going to be competing for starting spots. the team will be playing. The thing with Pete Carroll is we kind of knew who the starters were going to be. We kind of did. Even before the season started, we knew who the players were going to be because we brought them in. This year, there's a lot of people who were on the team last year that are going to get starting positions because they improved from last year, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about Max being blocked more by guards? Yeah. We're going to move him around a lot more, and that's going to leave a lot more advantage.
Yeah. So is there a play? So other than the special teams, I really don't see
There isn't.
glaring weaknesses.
We did not get worse in any position at all.
Yeah. Not to say that all these positions are solidified. What I'm saying is you build your team through the draft. We did that. We got a couple free agents, which was key free agents. And we had the money to spend because usually we didn't have the money to spend or it just wasn't an attractive destination place for us. Now that we have a coach of like the likes of Kubiak, they know that the franchise has turned the corner in how they approach things. And so now it's a place that people want to come to. And then plus, if you throw enough money at a player, he's gonna come.
And even within the AFC West is not. This is the first time they're going to be meeting Kubiak twice a year. Guys, if you look at this team from top to bottom, we got better in every way possible, and that's the whole point of rebuilding. Right, because we've been working on this stuff for a while. It's just that we didn't have the quarterback to go with it. Not that we have the quarterback. If Kirk Cousins can win us 4 games, put it this way: last year we won 3 games. Could Kirk Cousins by himself, replacing with Geno, could he have given us 2-3 more games last year?
I do. I think so.
I think he could have given us more games last year.
Well, last year, yeah, because Chip Kelly probably would have called a different play for Kirk Cousins than he did for Geno, and I think we would have done that. Well, I think Kirk Cousins can win 4 games. I mean, like he came in and won 4 games or 5 games with Atlanta in his limited time.
Because the crazy thing about Chip Kelly is when he started in Oregon, you know who his quarterback was? One of his quarterbacks? He was my high school quarterback. Dennis Dixon.
Yeah.
Dennis Dixon was my high school quarterback.
Dixon. I remember Dixon.
Okay. Dennis Dixon is built just like Geno Smith, right? That quick feeded, quick throw type of quarterback. I do think Chip Kelly will have caught a different offense with Geno Smith. With Cousins. I do think that.
Yeah, I definitely think our quarterback position is going to be a lot better. Like
exactly,
no matter what, and I think Kirk Cousins is going to come in and win his games. Like,
and Kubiak is not calling Kirk Cousins to run out the pocket. He's going to be calling Kirk Cousins from the play action to throw some good dimes. I'm excited, man. I'm sorry, I'm just excited for this team. I'm
very excited too.
For as long as I've been a fan, I haven't been this excited about the Raiders since honestly, Derek Carr and Khalil Mack season, right? That's when we felt like the Raiders were making a big change, and we did, and it did work, except we replaced it with John Gruden. Maybe a bit too.
Yeah.
People forget when the last time we drafted a quarterback was Derek Carr, and it did work. It actually worked. The team got better. The year we drafted Carr, remember, he didn't start that year. He came in later, like in the 8th week. I think Derek Carr came in, finished the season pretty strong, and then the next season, playoff bound. Right? Is that what happened? Carr didn't start his first season, did he?
I think no, he started his first game because Matt Schaub was hurt.
Again, that's it. The last time we drafted a quarterback, the last time we made a wholesale change on the team, we were a playoff team.
Now, here's a point right here. Weren't everyone excited last year, too? I wasn't. I saw
Okay.
what was going on. And I think a lot of times a lot of the fans now, they're excited because we're just looking for anything to happen so that they can win.
I'll explain my end. I was excited last year, but the reason why is I thought Pete Carroll was going to give us some stability for at least 1 year or two before we can actually get a quarterback. And people need to understand this. Pete Carroll coming in wasn't supposed to get us a quarterback necessarily. It was just supposed to stabilize us for like 2 years. So we stopped looking like a ridiculous franchise that didn't know what they're doing. The miraculous part of Pete Carroll is that we got the number one overall pick. So the rebuild started way earlier than it was supposed to because Pete Carroll wasn't the rebuild, right? Because Pete Carroll wasn't trying to rebuild. He was trying to win games. It just so happens that he lost so many games and kickstarted the rebuild for us.
I think Chip Kelly was sabotaging the whole situation because he thought he was
So
going to be
because
the
he wanted to be a
incumbent.
coach. Yeah.
Yeah, he was going to be the incumbent
Yeah.
coach because when we got him, we gave him the most money all the offensive coordinators. He was making more money than some head coaches in the league already.
Right.
So
And
really, it was going
and
to
I
make sense that he was going to take over at that time. But one person hired Chip Kelly, and then another person hired
hired
uh, uh, Pete
Pete
Carroll. So
Carroll.
they
Yeah.
never had a meeting of the mind. So it was just a pissing in the win contest between the two, and
And I
so
would
consequently we lost because of that.
yeah. And I would even say that plan wasn't a terrible plan because even I thought, yeah, Chip Kelly, let's give him another shot. Let Pete Carroll run the team for a year or two. He's old, he's gonna leave soon, and then pave the way for Chip Kelly. It's just that maybe Chip Kelly was looking for that a little bit too early, and everything kind of just fell apart on us. Again, the dysfunction of last year wasn't planned. That's why everybody was so excited about it because yeah,
Right.
we needed to stabilize the franchise. So you brought in people who knew football. We just didn't know that those people would let their egos get in the way and kill the team.
Right.
This is different. There's no ego going on here. Because King Kubiak has no ego. He has not won by himself. He needs to first win by himself. He is trying to build a dynasty, not just a 1 year or 2 year team.
And I love that part that we're trying to build a dynasty, and you can see it. I think
Oh,
Pete Carroll was even like creating a culture for us. It's just that it was just so many things that was sabotaging the situation, and
exactly.
then it got to a high stress situation where now, okay, cool. Everything that did not fall in line ended up being like his demise. Because, for example, he
Hmm.
said some things like, we're gonna win a bunch of games, and then he was
Right.
like, "Look, I won 10 games for
Every
like my
season.
career." And so
Hmm.
everybody took that to mean the Raiders was going to win 10 games. That's not how we were supposed to look at that. Because
Yeah,
remember
that's
last year we
exactly it.
kept
Yeah. Yep.
we were talking about we're not going to look at the record. This is a rebuild year. They're saying the same thing this year. But I promise you, the moment that the Raiders go under 500, they're going to be start talking about bring in Mendoza
Oh
and all that
yeah.
other stuff.
Oh yeah.
So we're not supposed to look at the record. We're supposed to look at the culture shift change. Now, the thing about Kubiak is he came in from day one and changed the culture. And
In
maybe
the
that's the
right
thing
way.
about getting a younger coach, because I always felt we do need a young signal caller and
Hmm.
a new young regime because the NFL has gotten younger. I don't think the game necessarily passed Pete Carroll completely
I don't
by,
think so either. I don't think so
but
either.
he could have changed the culture if he didn't have the undermining of the offense because the
Right.
defense was doing decent.
The difference
It's
was
just
doing
that
this.
they just got exhausted because the offense never stayed on the field. They could never score over 16 points. I mean, like that's gonna wear down your defense and make everything look bad. So
Yeah, and we
I
we
don't
also
really
know
blame.
that Pete. We also know that Pete Carroll did change the defense, Patrick Graham's defense. But to be fair, too, Pete Carroll did bring in a lot of his own guys in a cheap way. Again, stop hating on Pete Carroll. He really didn't screw up the team. Yes, we were bad, but we still got the first overall pick. And Pete Carroll didn't spend that much money, that much of our money to bring in those players that he did. That's why they all left after one season. Those were all 1 year contracts. Again, he was meant to just stabilize us for a year or two till we figured out who we're going to hire as a coach and who the quarterback is going to be. By grace, King Kubiak happened to have won the Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator, and then we also happened to get the number 1 overall pick. Because remember, the reason we couldn't get Ben Johnson is because we didn't have a quarterback, and it just so happens that with King Kubiak, he was ready to coach, and we had the quarterback ready for him. That's all I'm going to say about it. I love Pete Carroll. I would never hit on Pete Carroll. Yeah, he won 3 games, but he beat the Chiefs, and he got me a number 1 overall pick. I'm happy about it.
All at the same time, right?
All at the same time, while being 74 years old.
Am says the first game was great, and then everything went downhill afterward.
Oh, the last game was amazing. I love the last game. You know how happy I was the last game? Dude, I was so happy. That was the best game we've had in years, the last game.
I think Chip Kelly really thought that after we won that first game, he was like, he kind of tried to be reserved a little bit because he didn't like Geno Smith, and he didn't want him to be his quarterback. He wanted to get his own quarterback in there. And so then that's when it started kind of going left. And then Brock Bowers got hurt that first game, so it kind of took us from a cruise control, or if you can say that, after the first game to now we're kind of like, oh my gosh, like it's kind of like, oh, it's like, when you're really, really nervous and anxiety, and because our offense is predicated on Brock Bowers. And so the scheming was terrible, the play calls was terrible. Then Geno Smith started throwing 3 picks, and it just got out of hand. And then before we knew it, a little dumpster fire turned into a whole forest fire.
Here's another interesting question backwards, as in, put it this way. Who do you think, Raider Nation, will regress on the Raiders this year? Who do you think is most likely to regress as a player? Because I can only think of one position where regression can come from.
The D-line, maybe? I think the player that could regress is Kuntz. I think he could regress.
No, I think he's already regressed. I think he's already bad. I mean, sacks last year. 4?
Yeah. He got outplayed by our boy that got traded. What's his name?
Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, Tyree Wilson. Right.
I wanted us to keep Wilson. I wanted us to keep Wilson. I think the only position where I can see regression is honestly Eric Stokes. Because I think the regression would be he wasn't as challenged last year. That would be the regression.
Yeah.
And now that the more of the defense is better, he might get more challenge. That legitimately, that's the only barring injury. That's the only position where I can say, yeah, we might get some regression, because every other position got better by personnel. Even with injuries, Dean and Quay Walker are not going to do worse than our linebackers last year.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that's true. I would agree about the Stokes thing, because he wasn't challenged as much, and I do see him maybe getting a slight dip. I just hope it doesn't get to the point like you get the bag and now you're gonna just start regressing. I think he's gonna have.
I don't think that would be him.
I think he needs to keep his level at a high level, and so that way, it doesn't seem like that first year was just a one-off, and he just happened to capitalize, because players play very well in their contract year, and then after they get paid, then they get kind of comfortable. So I hope he doesn't get comfortable. I like you said, I don't think he's going to get tested a whole lot, because we're going to have a new corner on the other end. We don't know who it's going to be.
I think Stokes
whether it's Masses, they're going to try him. They're definitely going to try McCoy, because they're wondering how long he's going to be able to play at a level. And if they make them pay with with some early interceptions, that forces teams to be like, all right, well, we got to mix it up here, because these guys are opportunistic over there on defense. We can't just be picking on a player because they're making an adjustment. So I think the most important thing that we need to focus on and solidify is Coach Robbie. What is his learning curve going to look like?
But he could be the wild factor. He could be the thing that's just like, because play calling is the one thing you can never really predict. Because if he turns out to be a good schemer, that defense can absolutely blow up. That could be like a top 5 defense. Because again, the personnel is there. You can rush the passer now. consistently because you brought in Kwity Paye to help Max Crosby, and then you drafted Keon Crawford. So we can rush the passer more consistently now. If the linebacker core in the 3-4 pulls up, I'm telling you, and this, I'm not just saying this. ESPN is already saying it, the Raiders defense could be potentially top 5 because you like to figure that they hired Leonard because they heard or saw something that was like legitimately like, oh yeah, no, this guy's got it. This dude's got it, right? Because he's young, he's really young, right? But he's been with some really, really good play callers. That could be the wow factor.
Yeah, that I think that is the X factor, the wow factor, all of that,
The
because
O factor, the ooh factor.
we don't know what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
I say be patient with him, but like you said, if he know how to really call plays and scheme it right,
Yeah.
I mean, if not top 5, I mean that's a little high for me, but I definitely think we can be top 10 because we were a middle of the tier defense even last year with Patrick Graham until the defense just could not hold anymore.
Yeah, because the cover 3 just wasn't quite working, and I know the Raiders are not going to run a cover 3 this year because the cover 3 is kind of generally outdated for the most part. Someone's going to revive it, but right now it's not really a thing. I think the defense will be this. I think it'll be better because there will just be more options.
Yes.
The players are better. The players are significantly better. There's going to be a lot more options, a lot more movements, a lot more people fighting to essentially become the next Max Crosby type of leader in the clubhouse. Because someone like Nakobe Dean would want to retire with the Raiders at this point. He's 25. He's got your first contract. If you do well for the next 2 years, you get another 3-year extension. Hey, you could end your career as a really good player for the Raiders. Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Absolutely, I agree with that. So overall, I just think that I'm very optimistic about what we got going on. I mean, sure, you got to put the product on the field, but I mean, you have to draft players and get these free agents in there to put, stopping all these holes we had in our team. We had holes everywhere. And we addressed it. We addressed a lot of them in the off season, and so that's why I think that. They gave us an A overall for our draft picks and all that. And I think we got some day one starters. And then we got some players that want to prove it. And then we got players on contract years. So it could be the perfect storm. You never know. I don't like to be in the frame of mind that we could do like a Redskins, or the Commanders and have like a good year. But then you saw what happened the year after that. Jay Daniels got hurt. So now they almost got to start all over because they're not that same team they were 2 years ago. I don't want a one-year wonder. I don't want a flash in the pan.
That's why I keep saying the Raiders are trying to build
a dynasty.
Yeah, exactly. The Raiders are trying to build a dynasty. This is not just get us out of this hole. We just need wins for the Raider Nation. No. This is Raider Nation wants a dynasty. We want a team that we'll be proud to watch for the next 10 years. And by having Mendoza, the team would at least be very fun to watch for the next 3 years if Mendoza is just average, right? It looks like chat's kind of dying out, so we should start calling it a night. But I think we got out the point. I really do. And we got to wait. It starts in another 3 weeks? We only got to wait another 3 weeks, and training camp starts.
It's going to be on. Then we're going to see what it's really all about because that's when the pads come on, and then we're going to see what players rise to the top because there are going to be some players that might shock us. There might be some players that
I hope so.
might make a name for themselves, and I'm really excited about it.
And because the team has been so bad for the past several years, so many players will shock. I actually think that's the thing. A lot of players are going to shock because we just have a lot of new players and a lot of players who just haven't gotten a lot of playing time, right? So I do think a lot of players will shock.
I think what we should be patient for is it's not this first year. This first year we could be excited about whatever it is. But it's going to be that second year once you're in that system and you have another offseason, and then you're going to have an offseason where it won't be a quarterback competition. Because if Kirk Cousins wins us 8 or 9 games, I think he's going to stick around. You seem to think it doesn't matter. He's not going to be here. So if he's not going to be here, it's going to be clear who the quarterback is going to be in the offseason.
I'm saying
And
that
if he
because I'm
comes
looking at
back, it's
past
going to be
examples.
clear.
Right. So I'm saying that because I'm looking at past examples. Like the Chiefs, after Mahomes played a little bit, they kind of let go of Alex Smith the next year. So that's kind of stuff that I'm looking at. But yeah, the more I keep thinking and looking on it, yeah, I'm excited for this season. I think it's going to be again. I think I have not been excited about a Raiders team before the season started like I am this time around. The last time was when we drafted Khalil Mack and Derek Carr, and that worked out pretty well for us.
Yeah, so now we just got to take it to the next level.
Yeah, we already have the Khalil Mack. Now we just have to bring somebody better than Derek Carr.
What you say? I know, right? It says, I think we'll have more surprises than disappointments in camp this season. Facts. Good point.
That's my point. Yeah, that's
good point. Webb, you is the man, Webb. You are the man, straight
because
up.
last year we knew who the starters were going to be before the season. This year, there's a lot of positions where it's just like someone's gonna take somebody's job. Somebody thinks they have a job right now. They're not gonna have it when season starts because somebody's shooting up the gap there, right? Because there are certain positions that are solidified, but tight end, running back, Trey Tucker, who else? Max Crosby. Everybody else are free agency additions, are second year or rookies. I'm telling you, camp is going to be exciting. And not only that, the national media is going to be paying attention to Raider camp. This channel is going to grow. Our channel is going to grow. I'm telling you, because we're going to start making all that noise. Because guess what? If you're not a Raider, if Raider fans are going to start looking at the Raiders now, because the national media is going to be looking at the Raiders every single week, at the very least, to see if Cousins gets injured and Mendoza goes in. So, yeah, the team will just be better. The team will play harder. But again, as you said, it may not be this first year because we're trying to build a dynasty, not a one-year wonder. So, and that's all I got, man. That's all I got.
Yeah, well, we want to thank you guys for hacking into the show. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the loyalty. And you already know, we are one nation all day, every day. I'm a Raider. He's a Raider. From the Bay to LA to Las Vegas.
There it is.
Hey, boys. Have a
good night.
Good night.
I'm a Raider. From the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. Recipes to Al Davis.